Hello mga Jaconatics and mga ka-Engoo natin dyan. This is your Tutor Jaco again at your service. Alright, well today, ipagpapatuloy natin ang ating discussion about the manual books of accounts. So we have already finished, the introduction, which is part 1. And then of course, how to do your journal entries, okay, in your general journal. This time, we will post now the entries that we have made from the general journal to your general ledger. Okay? Alright, so before we proceed to the posting of your entries to the general ledger, let's go back first to the basic accounting cycle. Alright, so as you can see, the number 1 there is, financial transactions. Of course, we were able to identify the different financial or business transactions in part 2 of this video, as well as number 2, general journal. Alright, so we were able to also make our accounting entries. Alright, so this is actually the cycle when we do accounting or bookkeeping. This time, so makikita ninyo dyan yung naka-yellow box, andyan na tayo na step. Okay, so we are now in our step 3, which is the general ledger, or we call that in accounting, posting to the ledger or the general ledger. Ayan, so this is actually our ledger. So you can actually buy this in, in National Bookstore or any supply stores near you. Alright, so again, the ledger is used for, or it's actually a record of each account and its running balances. Okay, like for example, if you want to know how much cash do you have, okay, or how much your accounts receivable, alright, or meron pa ba kayong accounts payable, how much is your current and existing liability, so makikita mo dun sa ledger, alright, yung mga balances. Okay, so let's go back to the ones we have made in part 2 of this video, the journal entries. Again, as you can see here, meron tayong mga entries na nagawa dito. Alright, so in the ledger, gagawa tayo ng ledger specifically for each account. Like for example, gagawa tayo ng ledger for equipment. Okay, naka-separate ang computer, headset, and webcam. And also a ledger for Digamon Capital, alright, for the equity account. Alright, and then after that, gagawa din tayo ng ledger for cash. Ito yung mas maraming movement, yung cash. And also accounts payable, and then of course the service revenue, and also the rest of the accounts that we have used in our part 2. Alright? Ayan, so papasok na tayo ngayon sa ating ledger. Okay, so literally talaga tayong pumasok sa loob ng ledger. Okay. Well, first thing is that, you make a header, okay, for your ledger, the title of your account. Like for example, this one. So, this is actually the cash ledger. Alright? So, ang heading niya is cash ledger. And on the left side of the ledger, this is actually lahat ng mga cash na pumasok, alright? Lahat ng mga cash na dinebit mo, okay? So lahat ng mga debit na cash, alright? So yung naka-red box dyan. Like for example, in our example previously in January 2, alright, you applied for a loan to Mr. Utang Now, alright? That's for 5,000. So ilagay mo siya sa left side, the debit side, alright? Or receipts or cash receipts. Okay, yung natanggap mo ng mga pera. And also for January 15, alright, naka-receive ka ng salary from the company, so ilagay mo din yan doon, alright, for 20,000. And another one, January 31st, it's a salary, of course, from the company, so ilagay mo din siya doon sa left side, on the debit side of your cash ledger. Here, in the right side of your cash ledger, these are actually your expenses or your disbursement. Lahat ng mga pera na inilabas mo, na ginastos mo, okay? So, dito mo yan ilalagay on the right side. Like for example, in our previous example, in January 10, nagbayad ka ng, or nag-apply ka for COR and SD. Alright, so you've spent, annual registration, COR, the payment for the COR, and also the SD and notarization, ganon. So, ilagay mo siya dito. So, that in our example, it amounted to 3,000. Alright, on January 11, for the printing of OR, binayaran mo yon. So, ilagay mo din dyan. So, 2,000 for example. And on the 13th of January, you bought journals and ledgers. Okay? So, ilagay mo siya doon. 200 pesos for example. And then in January 16, nagbayad ka ng internet, PLDT, or other internet service provider, ilagay mo for 1,800. Okay, here. And on the 25th of January, you release a loan, okay, to Miss Palautang. Alright? So that's for 6,000. So, lumabas ang pera. Alright? And then January 31st, nagbayad ka ng loan mo to Mr. Pautang now. Alright, that's 5,000 pesos. In here naman, this is actually your accounts receivable ledger. Okay, in our previous example, remember na nagpautang tayo kay Miss Palautang. Alright, so we have taken the money from our pay. Alright, so kaya sinali natin ito as accounts receivable. And my date dito, January 25, loan to Miss Palautang for 6,000 pesos. Alright, so if you lend money to other people, so idadagdag mo lang dito yan sa ledger mo. Alright, here, when we invested in equipment, so tatlo yun. The first thing is we invested for a computer. Alright, so this is January 1st or January 1. We invested a computer for 15,000 pesos. Also, we have to make a ledger for the equipment that we bought, the equipment headset. Alright, so it's the same day, so January 1, we invested a headset for 3,000 pesos. So, importante na i-separate mo talaga siya. And the last equipment that you have invested is the webcam. Alright, the same day, January 1, invested a webcam for 2,000 pesos. In here, nung nangutang tayo kay Mr. Utang Now, so meron tayong accounts payable, okay, or loans payable. Alright, so makikita nyo dito on the left side, this is when we paid the loan, and then on the other side, on the right side, that's when we applied for a loan, okay? So on the right side, okay, kasi yung payable is on the credit side. So normal balance ng liabilities is on the credit side. So on January 2, we applied for a loan, okay, from Mr. Utang Now for 5,000 pesos. Alright, so naka-credit siya. And then on the 31st of January, binayaran natin si Mr. Utang Now. So that's why meron din tayong na debit na 5,000 pesos. As you can see, okay, if you will have the running balance of your accounts payable, meaning zero na accounts payable mo kasi binayaran mo na yung pinagkakautangan mo. Okay, in here, this is the Digamon Capital Ledger. So when you invested the different equipments, the computer, the headset, and a webcam, of course, you credited Digamon Capital. Alright, so makikita ninyo dito on this side is January 1 equipments, that's for 20,000 pesos. And now, punta naman tayo sa service or revenue ledger. Okay, so again, the service revenue, ito yung mga salaries or compensation natin in exchange of the service that we have provided. Alright, so in here, the service revenue is again, it's on the credit side. On the 15th of January, you receive a salary, so i-record mo dyan. And then on the 31st, i-record mo dyan. May iba, nagsisweldo ng weekly, so in a month, 4 yung entries mo dito. Or minsan naman yung iba monthly, so in a month, isang entry lang ang ma-record mo dito. So that is for your service revenue ledger. For your taxes and licenses ledger, so ito yung mga makikita. Okay, in our previous example, the transaction about taxes and licenses is during the application for registration, okay, or during the filing of your sworn declaration. So in our example, on the 10th of January, Ayan, may nakanote na CRNSD for 3,000 pesos. Alright, so kung may mga transactions ka pa about licensing or taxes that you have paid, ilagay mo dito lahat. Okay? Dito naman, isa ito sa mga expenses mo usually na binabayaran mo because as a home-based worker, ito talaga yung nagbibigay sa atin ng trabaho, si internet. Okay, so we have here the internet expense ledger. Okay, on the 16th of January, you paid for the internet. Alright, for the month of January, in our example, so that's 1,800 pesos. Okay, in the succeeding month, so ilagay mo for February until December pag naubos or pag ano na tayo, end of the accounting year or the calendar year. In your office supplies ledger, so makikita mo dito dalawa yung transaction natin in our example. On the 11th of January, nagpa-print ka ng OR, so nirecord ko siya under office supplies, so that's 2,800. And on the 13th of January, the journal and ledgers for 200 pesos. And finally, of course, in this transaction, nung nangutang ka, of course, mayroong interest na binabayaran. Alright? So this is actually your interest expense ledger. So if you can remember, nangutang tayo kay Mr. Pautang Now. On the 31st of January, binayaran natin. Alright? So dito, ilagay mo yung interest na binayad mo. In our example, that's, around, that's 500 pesos. Ayan guys, so that's how you post your entries, your journal entries to your ledger. Okay, so again, specifically, yung ledger is like, a record of all the transactions in every account. Okay, so maglalagay ka ng ledger, okay, in every account, and you post it in the ledger. Yung mga transactions mo from your general journal, okay, going to your general ledger. Alright, so that's part 3 of this tutorial on the manual books of accounts, guys. And of course, the next part of this tutorial is of course the cash receipts and disbursements books. Alright, so abangan niyo ang ating part 4 of this video. Alright, well, thank you for watching, guys. If you are new to this channel, just hit that subscribe button. Okay, and then like this video. You can also ring the bell so that you will be updated of all my videos. You will be notified. And if you have some questions, guys, or anything that you would like to suggest or anything that you would like to say, you can comment that down in the comment box below. Alright, so that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and God bless you all.